Yeah, good evening to everyone. Welcome Monday Night Live with Moun Séwyè. So tonight we have a guest with us. Yeah, man. We have a special guest, Rastaman on the vibe. To our wash. So brother, introduce yourself. Say good night to the people and everything.
Well, good night to everybody. Well, my name is Carrington Andrew, what everybody knows me as Flower. So, good night to the public.
For what you say for?
Alright.
So yeah, brother, anything you want to do? Tonight is you on tonight. You check.
Oh,
We're
well,
discussing
well, tonight
everything
I
and
come to discuss some things anyway. Yeah, me, I come to represent the Lion tonight. I come to represent the Lion on the coat of arms. So, tonight we have a lot of things to discuss. Yeah, man, tonight I come to represent the Lion. I come to represent the Lion on the coat of arms. And tonight we have a lot of things to discuss because we are it's
yeah.
46 years of independence or now, and still up to now we children don't know are learning nothing in school about the Lion and the coat of arms. So that is what I come and discuss tonight here. And we have some other things to discuss too because
You think that one is
alright. Yeah, man, blessed. Thanks.
You already?
yeah.
Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
It is yeah, man. As I say, we tonight I come out to discuss on the Lion that on our coat of arms because it's been 46 years of independence and our children still learning nothing about the Lion on the coat of arms. So for me tonight there is we have to take it into another step to for me in the way of bringing it out like treason. So for me tonight there I would really like to go deeper into it because it's like treason. For me, the president need to be arrested, the prime minister need to be arrested, the minister of security need to be
Just
arrested, the minister of education need to be arrested, the chief of police needs to be arrested too. So for me, the president Nia Motley, she need to send down. She's the president of the CARICOM now, so she is the one that's supposed to come and arrest the prime minister and the president of Dominica and thing for treason, because our public don't know nothing about the Lion on the coat of arms, and it's high time now that our public need to get to know our coat of arms, and which is the Lion is the highest representation, and on top of the coat of arms it says on top. It stand on top of the coat of arms, and we go to school and we never know nothing about it. We learn about the others like the parrots and the quapo and the coconut trees and everything, but we never learn about the Lion on the coat of arms. So for me, it's treason. So the government, the prime minister, and the president, and then people there need to be arrested because it's been too long now. So like, and Liam Otley, to me, you have to come and arrest the prime minister and the president for treason. You know, the public need to know a little more about that. In school, the children need to learn about that in school. Our people need to know about that. We have it on our passport. We travel in and we cannot tell nobody what the Lion representing on our passport. Them things there is embarrassing for me myself, and even my children, I cannot tell them what the Lion representing on our coat of arms. So we need to go deeper to that because that is treason. That been happening going on for too many years now for our people to don't know about our own self. So that is one thing I really come to talk about there. So Nia Motley, you are the one that can really come and take care of that for us because you are the
Yeah, Motley have no jurisdiction over that.
Well,
That is
she's
our
CARICOM.
jurisdiction. CARICOM don't really have.
Well, but I like to get to know who that can arrest them people there
Huh?
because,
That's other people.
huh?
That's other people can arrest
It's
them.
we that have to deal with our situation.
Well, we'll have to find a way because to me we have to. I don't know if it's who
That is
that
the
will.
thing, like a lot of times we just check overseas, but really and truly, none of them overseas things have no jurisdiction in being able to come and remove our government.
So
We are the
yeah.
ones, other
Let
people
me
that
ask a
have to
question.
deal with our government
Yeah,
structure.
but in the time of when the hurricane passed and destroyed the place, and the prime minister who we call for security now, who we
Yeah,
ask,
because
huh?
it's a
That's a original thing.
regional thing,
Right.
but
So for me, if she representing the regional, because I myself watch an interview with her, in Africa, representing the CARICOM, they are representing all of us as our people, and all know if there's a big problem in Dominica and the government can't take care of it, it's she herself that have to send the force, the regional force to do that. So for me, it's she that have the power to arrest our prime minister.
No,
no, no,
I
no.
have to
She have to
interrupt
go
you
on
on
her
that.
own and do that.
I have to interrupt you on that. She have a little misconception at the present moment. You see, for somebody from overseas to come in
It's not in your jurisdiction.
to deal with anything in Dominica, we Dominican people have to call them in. So to deal with a treasonous act,
Yeah.
So they might go.
okay, both of them, or both of them.
Yeah, let me see if we can use the audio.
So both of them are working.
They have a kind of a sound.
We start.
Just now, just
With that movie, this was a problem.
Yeah.
You see, that what you call it. That what you call it. Citizen arrest.
Or else we have to, the Caribbean Court of Justice,
It has
something
to
have
be
to happen,
citizen
huh?
arrest. We as citizens have to make a problem to do unnecessarily do. Yeah. Stand up for our rights.
Yeah, but boy,
Yes,
first.
my friend.
well,
Yes,
do use the mic.
Huh?
Do use the mic.
National Caribbean Court of Justice now.
Just talk normal and see if they.
Well, what I said
Just
was,
to bring that a little closer to
is
attention, yeah?
for something like treason, or for the violation of any law in Dominica, we the people are the ones that have to enforce our law before anyone else can come in. You can have a thing they call, you don't know going to interfere with your domestic matters. And they come in and want to arrest people that we don't choose to deal with. Is they come and interfere with our domestic
But just
matters.
go.
Yes, but that is not something like we do choose to deal in the thing. That is our coat of arm we're talking about. That is national thing. That is not that is our national symbol. Is not a thing like to say is in the political this or the political that. That is a national thing. That should be teach in school from the time I was in kindergarten and I checked that is 46 years of not teaching our people our symbol, our national symbol. That is way beyond. That for me is either is the court of justice, Caribbean court of justice, somebody of higher authorities, because we know if we go and try to create no kind of let's say arrest the prime minister or citizen arrest or something, they're going to create
What I can tell you
a
was,
little war. They're going to create
well, we wouldn't be able
and
to
we don't want
arrest,
that.
we wouldn't be able to arrest the Prime Minister or the President or any of the people of the
All these people and then need
over their failure to teach us our history, our culture, and our heritage. That is a failure on all of us part as a people. They are the custodians of the society. They are the ones we elect to lead us. So they fail in us as much as we fail in ourselves in the regard of teaching our people our history and our culture. That is a wider societal problem that we have to address as a people to move forward. We do not know enough. We do not know enough of our own history, of the things that happened in the past in Dominica. That is on all of us as a nation. I mean, we're younger, we're not the forefathers, but it's a failure on us as a people, on our leadership to see that we as a people don't know enough of our Dominican history, enough our Dominican culture. And that's is a problem going down in society. I understand what you're saying because I scratch in my mind, yes, I don't know what you like for.
Right, because, and that is a thing that we all should know, because we know what the parrot representing. We know what the Kwapo and all them things representing. Why? Why it was hidden away from us? Why that our government hide the lion? Why they never teach us in school about that? We need to go depth in that depth, because was hidden away for 46 years. That up to a day like today, my little boy going to school and he don't know nothing about it. And it is on our coat of arm and it is on our passport. And I can tell nobody in the world what the lion representing on my passport. That's treason. That is where the president needs to be arrested. That is where we need to get somebody in high authorities than our government to arrest them, and we need to go to that depth, right, my lord, because either the carry out of justice have to step inside of there, because this is treason, and them things there need to be taken very, very, very serious. That is much more serious than any other thing. That is way more serious than the Prime Minister building an airport. That is more serious than building a road. That is even more serious than the Prime Minister sitting down as a Prime Minister. We're talking about our coat of arms here. We're talking about our national symbol. This is not a joke. That is the most serious thing for us in our life today. 46 years of independence, and we don't know our national symbol. Our Prime Minister needs to be arrested. Our President especially needs to be arrested for treason. And this is treason towards the country. Because our leaders are supposed to teach our people the way and what we need to know. Our leaders know, they know it from the moment they get to know about it. Especially the Labour Party. The Labour Party just come out and celebrate 70 years. 70 years, you know. That is how much years before independence. So, and they that is in power right now, they have right to teach your own nation. They have the history, they have the knowledge, they have everything. They have right to be. That was just put up. That was just released about 2 years ago. That less than 2 years ago. Why the computer rasta? Why outside? I know is it not teaching in school? Why our little boys? Why they not teaching it in school? Why they teach us about the parrot? Why they teach us about the kwapo? Why they teach us about the boats and everything? Apwe body latte, and why they hide the lion away from us in school? Up to a day like today. The Minister of Education to be arrested for treason, because it's he that is the Minister of Education. They need to be arrested. Yes. And okay, let us leave the treason and let us go to Parliament. Let us go to the Parliament.
Dominica Parliament. It's the same thing again. Dominica Parliament. We have a Prime Minister who switches ministers whenever you want. We have no problem with that. You take away our Minister of Health, you take away our Minister of Health, and you put him as the Minister of Finance. You take away our Minister Engineer, and he put him as a Minister of Health, which I have no problem with. He's the Prime Minister, he do whatsoever he wants. But my problem is the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Health, which he put as the Minister of Finance, for his first budget speech, $1,244,005 million. It is not a budget, it is not a figure. This again is treason again. The whole parliament debated on it. This is complete madness. $1,234,005 million. This can never be a figure in life. Our whole parliament debated on it. Dominica, all now, we moving on without no budget. We like, boy, when I look at it, our people, they don't know figures. When I look at what I have to say, that's so, because our parliament, our ministers of finance, $1,234,005 million. That is not a figure. Our prime minister debate is on topic. Our foreign minister debate is on topic. We are the speaker of the House of Assembly approving.
Yeah, 2 hours, but you see,
Such a case.
yeah, good evening, Silvio. Yeah, but you see, there are certain things yourself. Some of them things.
This is not a figure. This is not a figure.
Yeah, it's not a figure, but now we just.
Debate on something that's not a figure. It is not.
Remember.
So this is awkward. Craziness in our parliament. Craziness in our parliament. How the Speaker of the House can approve such of a figure?
Yeah, but what is the figure you're talking about?
$1,234,005 million.
Well, there is the national budget. There is the national budget, so that is what they plan to spend for the year.
That is not a number. When I can say it is not a number. What? This is just not a number.
Just a mistake.
Huh?
Well,
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. The mistake needs to be corrected. The mistake cannot be debated on. The mistake, even though it's a mistake, it's supposed to be corrected. How could you make a mistake and you don't make the public know it's a mistake? The public is supposed to make the public know that it's a mistake. There's a debate going on it, my lord.
well, anyway, but anyways, now we go into the whole nitty gritty of the thing. We really want to talk about the grammar school thing today. To tell you the truth, we check. Yes, and because basically grammar school had a incident today where my understanding is that the auditorium roof collapsed. But yeah, you know, the way I'm looking at it, I mean, it is more than just that, because we have not had a natural disaster for today. Right? We did not have any earthquake. We did not have a hurricane. We did not have a tornado. We have not had. If it was actually meant to be recorded, we did not have any natural disasters, and a building of that magnitude collapsing the roof there today. I mean, it really more than troublesome. Well, for what you have to say about that for? I know you want to say some words but not enough.
Well, what I can really say about that matter is the responsibility of the harm have to come down on whoever responsible for that failure. If it's the engineer, whoever that may be, whoever that's in charge, if there is a failure of planning, the system have to take serious action on the matter of whoever that responsible for the failure that resulted in the collapse of the roof. Because construction been happening in Dominica and mishaps of that magnitude not really common in Dominica that I can see from what I know. So for something of that on a national project with a foreign company and what have you not. Yeah, because they have the foreign companies now feeling like as if well they are better workers, they are better builders than the local man, and that project is a foreign company is the one that that has led that project. I think is ADS. ADS has done a number of construction projects in Dominica. So now we have to really look and investigate the matter as to what is the failure in our system and resulting in the roof of the grammar school collapsing. Because the engineer have to certify the work plans, get planning to oversee the plans, to have government inspectors. It have failures, it seems, on multiple layers. And I hope that the people responsible for investigating the matter take the matter seriously, because it could have been easily that school could have been in use of for children and the children could have gotten hurt. Somebody could have died on the project. So we cannot look at that as something slack. We must come down with the hammer on that. That have to set precedent for the future. Because we are a poor country and have a law, I can't level of slack. That can cost money, that can cost delay in school. That is a problem somebody have to pay for. Can be set up program and whatnot. You have to be able to hear in the next 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is responsible. And this is the reason why the roof failed. The steel wasn't enough, the concrete wasn't good. Whatever it may be, we have to have a detailed public report as to why that roof collapsed. Because at the end of the day, it's taxpayers' dollars that behind that. Taxpayers' dollars that will be for paying for everything. So taxpayers have to have a detailed report as to what went wrong on a major government construction project.
Well, first of all, what my intake on top that is, as you can see, the government already have a problem, because the government our engineer and put him as Minister of Health, and take him Minister of Health and put him as Minister of Finance. So there's already a big problem there already. When the engineer is supposed to be there doing his work, and he in the hospital sit down engineering and sick people, and that is not his work. So as you can see, our problem is our government. Our leaders don't know what they're about again, and we have so much great leaders in our country. Then, boy, we never know them things going on here. You know? This is craziness. What about our children was inside there now? What about we had some fellas under there doing a little rubbing or something now? I would like to know. So the problem is our government again. As I tell you, it's our leaders. Our leader is a problem, and we have to all accept that our leader is a crazy person. He has a problem. For him to take out our engineer and put him in the hospital to look after sick people. It's just our leader have a problem. Our problem, our leader is he don't love to see our young people grow and make it in life. So he get jealous of our engineer. He find our engineer have too much of a flair already. He find he get too little jobs and he get a little finance already. So he take him out of that position and he put him in the hospital. The problem is our leader. And a country without a leader is into failure. As Neil Motley said, a country and a leader that taking your way out of planting your food and things is going to solve. Our leader have a problem, and it's time for our people to see that our leader have a problem. So them things must go on. And you see what happened there in grammar school? That must go on. Because our engineer is people they have him engineering. And he should be doing his work. He in the hospital. Well, housing, remember, as you know already, the minister have the power to bypass planning. The minister can just overtake the planning. Remember, as our prime minister tell us already, say already, like he just, well, you see, when the Chinese in the work, Rasta, our local put low for the Chinese.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is local housing projects, but there is a large-scale development. There is a complex project that has nothing to do with housing, my brother. No, listen, man. Them things, okay, you have MMC is the developer, right? So if you go on MMC website, you'll see they have these pictures of grammar school and it looks like a 3D model, a generated model. Well, anyways, rendered images of a 3D model of the Dominica Grammar School. So that is what that's supposed to be, the projected grammar school. If you go on MMC website, you'll see it. You check Montreal Development Education Grammar School slash. You check. So MMC was replaced or was state. So they take up the responsibility as they being the developers. So they oversee all the project, what was happening there. You check. So that is a fail already on them. You check. So what happened there with the failure of the roof? That is already a fail on MMC. You check. Now, when you go deeper into it, you have ADS as the contractor. So MMCE is the developer consultant, and you have ADS as the contractor. Yeah, all of them in problem, not just the contractor, all of them in problem. Because whoever designed, whichever engineer did the structural designs and sign off on the structural design to say, well, okay, that are sufficient steel, that are, you check me, the concrete mixture and so on. He's an engineer that have to sign off on it. You check. Now, he know that whole thing. That is why I was saying earlier on. We did not have any natural disaster today. And in we not having any natural disasters, we cannot say, well, okay, the roof fell due to the effect of a natural disaster, whether it be an earthquake or hurricane, a tornado. No, we did not have anything today. So that fell based on the structure fell by itself. So is an issue. Is an issue of structure. Of yes, it's an issue of engineering. It's an issue of it having structural failure on its own. You check me. Voila. So most likely, I can only assume that the structure wasn't properly designed. You check? And then we'd have to question the other buildings. Are they sufficiently engineered? Because there are other buildings in the whole development, you know. It's a complex project, you know, my brother. You check? So you're looking at a school with numerous buildings. And if you go on MMC website, they have how many buildings there, you know. You check? Well, the thing about it, every time you pour concrete, yeah, but every time you pour concrete, you're supposed to put them test tube aside and and ensure that. But right now, there, you must go and do you must go and do live tests on that. You check because even if you did the test and it maybe meet the requirements, you don't know if the concrete mixture wasn't good. You, so right now you have to go into a forensic investigation. Yes, yes. You check. So you might have to come in, call in some money, some scanners, ensure that the steel work was done properly, ensure that the concrete itself in itself, the mixture, up to standard, so you meet the required, yeah, I won't forget it, PSI, yeah. And right now, well, sir, I wouldn't like to be the contractor in that project right now, yeah, because we're in problems, because you're supposed to be able to see that you building you're going to build a structure. Yes, but apart from that, no. Hold on to our watch. As the project going along, right? In them scale of project, all details coming from the consultant. You check. So if you have an issue, you the contractor cannot resolve the issue on your own. You have to go back to the consultant. You check, and then the consultant now will remedy the situation and give you the contractor because they know you have what they call that is a chain of command. You check, and you have yeah, you have apart from the chain of command, you have to you restrict your scope of works. So one design, one build. You check to ensure certain and that is what it's supposed to do to ensure it's supposed to be able to ensure that the public interest is protected. So things like all that, like okay, so if the consultant miss something, you the contractor supposed to say, well, okay, boy, you know that don't have enough steel, that don't have enough thing, that you check me the cross section of that do design properly, the construction well that now you see because now the state is no longer the developers. You make MMCE the developers. You cut out this state is not housing, my brother. I tell you that a while ago, it's not housing. Government of Communication Projects Office, they're supposed to be the ones overseeing that. You check. So them man now supposed to be overseeing. Government Projects Office supposed to be overseeing what happening. You check. But what is the legal? We have to look at things from a legal standpoint too, you check. Because when you replace the state apparatus to foreign entities such that you have MMCE as the developer. A developer is basically the owner of the project. You check? Whereas the state's supposed to be the owner of the project. You check? So, there now, when you do them kind of things, it carrying it have it complex, it have ramifications and it have it complexity. You check? So is it that the state still safeguarding the interests of the state when it pass over to a developer? Because the state normally is supposed to be the developer of the project and the government would be the administrator. You check? So the government would oversee anything that the consultant and the contractor doing. You check. But when you pass that responsibility to a developer, because the developer becomes the state. In essence, that's what you do. Because you pass, it's like you give ownership to the developer, you know, my brother. Okay.
So if I understand in what you're saying there, Pyro, that would be the reason why the Prime Minister would say that Dominica, the state, has no liability on those projects, on the development of those projects. All of the liabilities on the developer.
Right now,
So
MMCE, what
yeah,
the thing about
but
it,
but
it's not like right now we're supposed to be going and give MMCE more citizenships to cover that up. They supposed to be able to cover it up, whether through insurance, whether through what they do. Voila. No, that is why I telling you. Yes, it's a complex liquor vibe. You check. It's a complex liquor vibe, and we never know what they're going. We never know we never going to understand what's going to happen in the background because we're not going to know if MMCE receive more passport, more citizenships to sell for them to cover up that whole project. We're not going to know that. You check. Good question because how you taking the responsibility of a state and pass it on to a company, and now you see in that situation of a disaster basically. We want to see how things going and unfolding because that is a situation where people might go to jail for it. My brother.
you see what I understand in there. The government, the allegiance of the government, as you say, it's supposed to be to its people, right?
Yes.
Right. The allegiance of the government is supposed to be to its people. So by giving a foreigner to be in control of, basically, it's like giving the foreigner in control of our country. You know what I understand from what you're telling me. So it's like, so the tourism you're talking about there earlier, that is tourism already there, you know, brother man. Like betraying the people like that, you know, Rasta. If I understand what all you're saying, I just stand up and I listen in. If I say something wrong, tell me. No, what I hear from what all you're saying there is the government betraying the state, they betray the people. And by betraying your people, it's treason because you commit into your people.
Well, we go look at it like that. It just takes in treatment legally under the law. That is why now under the
Our government, people in our government could create. People in our government, it's simple. People in our government come together and they create MMC and they register it and they agree that the government gives that company all the things. So now the MMC, when it get the project, the profit going back to the government. It's just like geothermal. The government want to create. That is what they tell us. When they look at the records, you must look at the records and see and when MMC start. Because MMC is a company they put together in Canada not so long ago. And that's why the government get and they link up. So that is a thing that they created. That was a creation to come and to rob them the wealth away from them, so that the ministers and the public could get what they have to get from it. That's how I see it. That is on my personal take, because you cannot give MMC so much of Dominican wealth. Something has to be coming out somewhere. But that's what I'm talking about. It's just like geothermal too. Geothermal is like the government want to create a company to sell current to Domlet, and then Domlet sell it to its people. It's like the same thing like MMC. Because MMC, as you can see, that wood that go on that disaster in grammar school as a builder, I don't understand why really go on that. To be honest, I don't understand why really taking place that yet, because for decking to just fall down, that is highly impossible. The only know when I know decking just fall down is when they fall into that chicken. If it wasn't the wood structure and it wasn't well structured, sometimes it burn and it fall. But after decking pour, I never know decking does fall. 10 minutes, 15 minutes after decking pour, decking doesn't fall again. So I don't understand what's going on.
So yeah, but that one didn't burst when it was being poured there. That one burst. Yeah, definitely, because it burst long. You can see the deck. Yes, you can see the deck that was there a long time now. Check. Yeah, so the whole thing, yeah, you take MMCE and you replace the state with MMCE and make them the developers of the. You check, so that whole thing now. Yeah, and look at man make a comment there. Gerald Vidal is saying, whom are the directors and majority shareholders of MMCE? And that is something that should be investigated for sure. You know, so you have to look at if you have any of even those gossip people like the Prime Minister involved in the ownership of the company, and those things are questions. You check, even if they don't even have ownership, but they might be receiving, yeah, they might be receiving some type of share from the profits of the company or something. You check, and is yeah, and apart from that, is a thing it have a complexity to it. You know, yeah, it definitely. So yeah, so yeah, you know, I agree with Gerald does Vital 100%. You know, them things that need to be investigated. Who are the directors? You check me. Who benefiting from those companies? You know, sometimes you're not a director, but you have a benefit. You check. That is why now it always good for public officials supposed to declare their assets, declare their accounts, and all them things there, so you can know if they receive a money. You're supposed to know from who. You check whose interest you're representing. You check me. So when the public elect you as a MP, a member of parliament, so you can represent a constituency. You're representing the people of the constituency. Huh? But you're receiving them big money from them companies to give them contract like MMCE. Because construction is the largest sector for our economy. Without no doubt. There is no other sector in Dominica that has $1 billion plus. Not just turning in it, but plan to spend in it. There is none. One project alone has been budgeted for over $1 billion, you know, which is the international airport. Same control by MMCE again. You check. Then you have all those schools, grammar school, goodwill school, and how many other schools, all the health centers, all the most, rather you're talking about how many billions of dollars that there. You check. So you're telling me now, how is it our government giving control of all those large projects to a foreign entity? And then all those projects have been constructed by foreign firms, whether it be Chinese, whether it be Beijing, all foreign firms. ADS is not a local firm. You check. And it's ADS that was the contractor. ADS is the contractor at grammar school. You check. No, before you are, well, okay, go ahead.
You mentioned something about forensic engineering to do what the scanning and so on, and But say that didn't happen at the time it happened, and let's say it would happen 2 years later after completion, or 3 years after completion. You know, I mean, we talking about the reason why we should have local contractors involved in building for us. And if it have any situation that make the point more clear, that is it. Because when these companies form, we don't even know who are their who are the people that what we were just talking about, the beneficiaries. We don't even know who to hold responsible for if something was to, these people essentially have no ties to Dominica. Yet we, we give them our heart and soul. You know, I mean,
Yeah, what is it? Rastafari. I see Rastafari making couple comments there. Sherman Boston saying, why is it? Post still work. I think it's more than just post still work, Sherman. Because when you look at how the slab broke without any real outside force acting on it. So you didn't have no natural disaster, no strong wind, no nothing. You take no earthquake, no hurricane. It was just under normal circumstances, and yeah, it could be a result. I feel most likely, I just speculating on this one, that the cross section of that slab was poorly designed. So whoever designed it, I feel the problem goes back to the design and also the construction. You check. So yes, and yes, Rastafari Shaman Boston saying that even if the concrete fails, the slab shouldn't hit the floor. But you see, even when a slab going to fail, now when you look at the size of that slab most likely going to have some type of beam in crossing the slab to support the slab, right? Now, before a structural member fails completely, well, there's a total failure, there's a complete fail. Before it fails completely, normally it shows signs of it's going to fail. So it would start cracking and so on. First you would see fissures, you would start. Exactly, that just fail, my brother. So that is a serious problem that happened there. That's not a joke thing, my brother. That just fail, that just go from functioning to failure. You check. So even the people that building the building now that supposedly doing the inspections and so on, my brother. Did you all ever see any signs of failure or anything like that? And a building it's supposed to show, in my knowledge, well me, I'm an architect, in training. I have a paper there somewhere to prove it to him if all you want to see. You check? And in my training I know before a member fails, it's supposed to show you sign of failure. And that is when it is properly designed and everything. So you can know, well, okay, building going to fail, you have to evacuate the building and so on and deal with the failure. Or if it starts to show the failure and then you can see, well, okay, boom, okay, we can remedy this situation or something. But to just have a building just under construction and just collapse like that, there is it definitely would have some type of structural issue to it. So I would definitely believe that the structural design of the building was insufficient. Well, if the design was insufficient, obviously the steel work could be insufficient because the design of the structural design would tell you how much steel and where the steel going. So having an insufficient structural design will obviously lead to insufficient steel work and insufficient But because when I watch the slab, it's showing if you look at, well, for any one of us out there that has done any type of engineering, there's this thing they call moments, building moments, and you have the graph. Normally, you chart a graph for a structural member to show well the stresses and so on, bending moments and shear and so on. But if you look at this slab, it kind of broke in three pieces of three pieces, with the center piece missing. I mean, not on this side to see, I just speculating. You can see like it broke along the lines of insufficient structural design. You check, it looks like that from a early looking at it and just a quick analysis. Now, I mean, we talk about planning and so on and government responsibility to us, the public, and it's this type of situations that show you the need for planning. And when you have a minister that he's not an engineer, he never did no engineering, yet still you would bypass planning and just agree to go ahead and build a building. So now, my understanding is that planning didn't have no say in the construction of those buildings. That is my whole understanding. Whether that is true or not, I do not know, but my understanding and feedback is that planning did not have a say in those buildings. But when you come to us locals, if we build in our building, planning have to come and inspect and give their okay to say, well, okay, you can pour concrete on that slab. So why the same isn't being applied to foreign entities on our same local project? That is our team. You check.
Hold on. Before we go, but I looking at a similar situation, along those same lines there, with a project that was recently completed on the road in Salisbury, where you have one of the culverts that was just recently placed failing again. You can see the road sinking again, and rather than remedy the situation, you just see another layer of asphalt just come and just being placed over it. So over the sink where the culvert failing, and that work. Yeah, remember they had the bypass in Salisbury. They had the by. Yeah, when you live in Salisbury going towards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what I saying is, we're talking about doing forensic engineering and to ensure that the rest of the work that was done, it up to the standard, it up to code. But when you look at the approach, like I was just saying, of the road, where work was just recently done, a money was just spent, and to see the road collapse and falling again, and rather than do the work properly, we just think that we're just going to pave ourselves over that. And as long as that is the approach of our people, our professionals, then you know,
Because I don't think it's the approach of the profession. And like I said, yeah, there's a legal clause that allows the minister to bypass planning and One of the things, my brother, reform, revolution. We need a revolution. You check. And we seeing today, we can just say praise God that school had not been started in that building, or even people were not working inside that building at the moment. Well, one of our partners was there on a scaffold. He had to jump off. I think he's supposed to go and check himself in the hospital because he's been complaining about some pains. Um, so when when you look at it, bypassing planning, we check thinking that we may be doing something, speeding up some type of process or trying to no, and that's giving contracts to all these foreign firms, making it look like our local fellas cannot deal with them projects, we cannot handle them projects. But all of us learn the same engineering. All of us learn the same architecture. When you go to university, it's not like they're teaching you. It's not like Chinese university teaching you a different engineering from, say, a Cuban engineering for university or American university. They all teaching you the same curriculum. Most of them teaching the same curriculum. So when we say, boy, when we have a prime minister come and make statements like for putting money in the local vibes, it's like throwing it in our having, my brother, and insulting local on them level, and then you go turn around and say, boy, we should consume local. But what about local construction talent? What about local architectural talent? You check, it's local. You check, we have our identity. You check, we have our thing. So here it is. You bring in the white man, the Arab man, MMCE, and make the whole world feel like, yeah man, our locals cannot deal with that. We have to get outside help and man, first of all, MMCE is not even a construction firm. MMCE is a law firm of migration lawyers. That is why they specialize in the sale of citizenship. You check. So they're not even a construction firm, and it's a thing I've been speaking about for a long time now. So you take a firm of lawyers, migration lawyers, selling citizenship, and you put them in charge of our construction industry. You check? And you insult every construction professional, my brother. You check? Because for all of us that went to university, that learn, even those that did not go to university and learn, you check, and able to keep up and there in the work and can do the work. You make us look like as if, boy, we just not in it. You check? Yeah, we just not in it. You check? We just not in it. You make the whole world feel like, boy, Dominica don't have the capacity to deal with them thing. You check me? And them is just some straightforward, simple construction. Yes, you might have it. Yes, it might be a complex structure in terms of design and thing, but the construction of those buildings are simple construction because all you have there is slab, columns, and beams. Slab, columns, and beams. Simple construction, Virgin. Nothing complex to say, well, you're not implementing nothing new to say, well, you come in there with space frames and different things. You check me? Simple, basic construction. You check? At the end of the day, we have to be able to build ourselves as a society, my brother. And if we cannot do that, if we cannot participate in our development, there is no development. Plain and simple. That is not what we speaking about and calling it development. That is not no development. You check me. We have to be able to participate in our development. Our local professionals are the ones that should be dealing with that situation. You're telling me you're bringing in a firm of lawyers. MMCE is a firm of lawyers. Anybody can go and look it up. It's on the internet. You check. They're not no construction professionals. They're not. Anthony Eden, where you not a what engineer or architect he be? Huh? He don't have an architectural degree, he never would. You check. A minister bypassing planning and the minister not know engineer, he not know. So
That tell us they want a graduate from each and every home. When you want a graduate from each and every home, the children like that in the world. So at this stuff you want is our graduate in each and every home. And they're giving all the major projects to foreign Rasta. So it's foolish so it's foolish people you want in every home. Yeah. So it have to be foolish people you want in every home. You understand what I say? But now I telling you, but I telling you, we need to, yeah, but we need to come together and get rid of that shit, boy. We need to come together, my boy. I tell you, this government that tell us they want to graduate in each and every home. But yes, they're taking away the opportunity from each and every graduate and giving it to the foreigners. Big time. Big time.
Our government is 100% failure. Our government is a beggar government. Our government is taking loans. Our government take loan on top of my little boy already. My little boy have to be in his 60s and government. The loan our government take now. Huh? That when they finish pay. Can you imagine what kind of a crazy government we have? Our government putting nothing together now.
But that's why I tell you, see that. And the vote is not us, the people are voting on the project.
But our government is doing us just like what France do Burkina Faso. And that is how our government dealing with our people. Our government is putting us there in poverty. Our government building structures. We're going to go in the structures now. Foreigners. We making money to go and go into a hotel and have a nice time. Or to ask our people crazy when our government telling us they building hotel there, they building hotel there, they building hotel there. They building hotel for who? For you to go and enjoy yourself. When you going to enjoy yourself? You have money, you're making money to enjoy yourself. Huh? Our people must stop listening to nonsense and put sense in their brains right now. Huh? Let's be real. Huh? 20 years our government in power and more. And what our government taking loan upon loan upon loan upon loan. Tell me, how can you run your country in taking loans? Nothing to develop our people. Just loans and loan. Look, one of these days I listened to the Prime Minister saying, "Oh, China say they're going to build our international airport." Oh, tell me, our Prime Minister, what you really doing for us? After 20 something years, you have no business. But that is what I was about to ask him. You understand me, my lord? Our Prime Minister is saying he building and hotels. We're going to stay in the hotels, a foreigner. Can we go in the hotel? Can we buy a glass of grapefruit juice for $40? Our Prime Minister have to be a mad person. And the public herself have to be crazy to can put our Prime Minister in feeling like he's so comfortable. And we ourselves we're not comfortable. Our Prime Minister say bring Kempinski. What Kempinski? So much time our Prime Minister boasts about the Kempinski and a Kempinski and how much jobs and about jobs. Where? Where is Kempinski right now? Kempinski don't last. Kempinski got a long time. Long Kempinski leave Dominica and go. Sell the business for another hotel. Our Prime Minister, and you think he for the people? All he talking about the country, he talking about the people. The people that is important. We that important. Or this us. It's not the country. The country gonna always be there. But we that passing on the living the little life on top of the country. Are we enjoying ourselves? The Prime Minister enjoying himself though. Tell me what the Prime Minister was doing for us, so we can enjoy ourselves. Us. Our people need to get serious. First of all, our Prime Minister even have to be in jail right now for treason, as I say already. Our people don't even know our own coat of arms. The government, the Labour Party government, need to just come out, in power, and they supposed to be in jail right now for over 70 years. They've been doing what they're doing to our people. And I'd like to touch a little on something else, on the marijuana too, and the police. They're just kicking people down and coming at people home with weapons, with big guns. And then the police come at you home with a gun. It's a problem, You come to kill. So you're supposed to defend yourself. For me, since the police have gun, everybody else need a gun in their life. Because I have right to can defend myself. If the police have gun to defend himself, the police coming in my place with how much guns we, and I have nothing to defend myself from the police, but the police can defend itself from me. Them things they need to be changed. Them things they need to look into. And the police still arresting man for marijuana. 50 years of beating us up and doing the kind of a thing. Them things they need to be changed. Them things they have to put a halt on. The police go up in the mountains and take man marijuana still. Them things have to stop. Them things they need to stop now too. Because the police will make us change our mind now. The humbleness of our heart is disappearing. The police want to be able to can roll with his nice van, not true? His nice transport. The Prime Minister want to roll nice, not true? The ministers and they want to roll nice, not true? And after we do all work for 6 months, the police coming in the mountains and take our marijuana, and we cannot make our children enjoy themselves, and we cannot enjoy ourselves. Them things there have to stop. You see me, I lost my uncle already. For the police, from the police kill my uncle in the mountains. Up to now, I don't know where my uncle is. And the police still continuing in a day like today, coming and kick people down with guns in front of our children and everything. Anytime the police have a gun, I have right to have my gun. Anytime the police come in my area with gun on him, I have right to have something to defend myself because the police come to kill. You know how much people the police kill in Dominica already? Any one of the police get charged and sent to jail for killing our people. You know how much people Labour Party kill already? You can remember the dread act? Labour Party put the dread act on us. You know how much people they kill already? My uncle is one of them passing it. Up to now, our family don't know where my uncle is now. Up to a day like today, my family do not know where Labour Party buried my uncle. Labour Party need to get themselves in order now and stop hustling our people in the mountains. Dread act was passed on top of us already. You kill our people too much already. Too much blood has run on the Labour Party already. Labour Party need to take all that nonsense on the book right now. It looking like we too humble. But that is what I know. But as you can see, Labour Party government only employing policemen. For the 20 years, it's 20 years of employing policemen upon policemen. Every year is a new set of recruits. As you can see now, it's another new set of recruits again. And they're starting to kicking, harassing young men on the street right now for little marijuana, kicking down people the door, coming with their arms at people's place. Anytime the Labour police have to come with arm at your place, you need your arm. Anytime the police have to come in, gun at your home, you need to have your gun to defend yourself. What about if the police go crazy? What about if the policeman that have the gun in his hand, a madness take him? How am I going to defend myself? How am I going to defend my family? How am I going to defend my children? Them things need to stop. Mr. Blackmore, stop selling your police in our mountains. You see how you just be nice on top of the street with your nice ride, your nice thing, you enjoying yourself at your home and your family and things. I want to do the same thing too. And my family start take harassing of you going cut our man, do them. We're tired. Put an end to it. You enjoying yourself. We doesn't disturb your enjoyment.
I don't know who's law now. I don't know who's law, you know, my boy. I don't know who that is law. I don't know who put them things there together. I don't know who is the person that put their law on the father tree, the father plant. I have nothing. I don't know about them things. You harassing my life now, and I cannot take harassment in my life. That is what I cannot do. I cannot take the harassment of policemen coming and hustling people on the street, hustling our people on the street, hustling our people on the street. After you kill out all our people already in the 70s and in the 80s, still shoot how much of them and have how many in jail right now for the same little marijuana stick for marijuana seed. We're tired with them kind of brutality. We're tired. We cannot take it any longer. We have to put a stop towards that. What? So much ganja smokers. We have 20,000 and more ganja smokers, my lord.
No, as you're talking about the ganja, then now, to say something about the ganja, and I have a lot to say about the ganja. Okay, plenty to say about the ganja because now we have a legalization of the ganja taking place and probably even in place already. But that's certain said that benefiting from it. What about people like me and you? As you say, huh? Our families, our friends, and others we know that get brutalized for ganja. You understand me? That go jail for ganja. What is our benefit from it today? You understand? So that's why they tell we get to it. We have to put ourselves in line too, you know, brother. Also, we need to form a growth association. If we're talking about we need to look for our benefits, we have to put ourselves in order to gain our benefits too. But of course, Pyro,
we have 20,000 street and more marijuana smokers.
Pyro, come and comment to the point.
What are you talking about now?
Come and comment to the point. That's why. Yo, but that's why. That's why I tell all you. That's why I tell all you. We that get all the brutalization from the ganja.
Yes.
Right? We have no benefit in it right now. The people in the high places that have all their money to back them up. Right? All their collaterals to back them up. They could afford to pay for the license and what they want to do. Otherwise, with their struggling, they still come and fool up people with their political strategies by telling them you can grow free trees at your home and you can have 28 grams in your possession, which is as madness as foolishness as they are. Foolishness as they are. Because
any of them man that set the policy.
boy.
Excuse me, my boy.
A ganja smoker can never set that policy. The people that set that policy, the people that don't know nothing about it, Tyrone.
No, what is that? It is a simple thing. What it is a trap to make you intend to supply. The Prime Minister, they set you up to what?
For a trap.
For a fail to fail.
A trap.
When the police come, when you grow your freezer with rasta in your house and you have about a pound and a half a week, you have right to have 28 grams in your possession. When the police come at your home, you have a pound and a half a week. You intend to supply because they got anything about having a possession, and anytime you have more than the 28 grams, you what is intend to supply. So the Prime Minister set us up.
Yeah, but that's why I'm telling you, and listen to that. Hold on, Tyrone. You see what he's saying there? What had happened in there, Rasta, right? When you plant your fruit trees, what they say you can have if they come at your home and limit your fruit trees hang up there with, like in roots and everything. So if they come and they see that tree big as a Christmas tree, they know there's one tree they see there. So even though they see three big Christmas tree, they know that is your fruit tree you grow. Right? But if we know what ganja is. We don't grow fruit trees, we hang it cure. We don't gonna leave it there hanging, you know, Rasta. It's rotten. What is the purpose of it to us? What is the sense of you telling me to grow fruit trees because you know it's smoking ganja? Obviously, we're gonna have to prepare it for smoking, for smoking consumption, brother. We're gonna have to clean it. We're gonna have to break it down. We're going to end up throwing what is the one from it. You understand what I'm telling you? So what you telling me? So when you come and when you come at my home and you meet the bomb now, huh? You meet that pot full of marijuana in my house. Yes. For example, that pot full of marijuana in my house. You go and tell me it's not the factory that give me that pot of marijuana.
You intend to supply my lord. So that time.
You understand what I'm telling you? So that's why I say it's foolish. It's just a political strategy they use on us as a people, my brother. That is foolishness. So according to Pyro, we need to form an army boy as ganja man boy against that because that. But you don't hear in a boy. But that is madness them man do to us, boy. That is madness, boy. Police harassing, how much get to people, children?
Thank you, and we 20,000 strong, my boy.
Police harassing, how much get to people, children, my brother? Making their house. It doesn't say them police just come on the market and harass and harass for people, children, Rasta.
My wife is started to the and how much is going in their army and little children there and everything. The police coming like you in war, we. You see the police coming like you know, you see how the police passing on the street, my boy. Big machine gun them and having the army, my boy. But you see,
in Jamaica, they've been having a few court cases along the same lines there, you check. So you see the whole thing there of, for example, stopping vehicles on the road and just searching people at random. Them thing there, I mean, that against people constitutional rights, you check, because a person, if we create a culture where it's okay for people to just, for a police to just feel that he can stop you and go in your right, and he feel that, listen, but the thing about it is, you as the person, as the public, John public, and what that is dangerous about it is that the people feel that if you don't hiding nothing, then you should just consent to the, just agree for the police to search. But no, if a person decide, I have my right and I don't consent, what happens then? And I can already tell you how, I can already predict how it goes. You check, I telling you that now will even raise the police suspicion more and make them more aggressive towards you. You understand? You 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 would think that they would want to acknowledge you have a right to to because if you say, well, 100 man consent, it will always have one man say he don't consent. Is that a reason to say that the man suspicious? You check. So the man protecting his privacy, you check again. Now the whole thing of the police in the military fatigues now. While you have while you have while you have what you have in Dominica is not an army, but you have the militarization of the police, and where you have no differentiation between what is police and military. Now they will tell you that military people with military training, soldiers, cannot engage civilians. Okay, through the training that you have. You understand? If you injure a civilian using the training, the tactical training that you were given by the state, you can take jail on a normal basis. You understand? The military, like in the 70s, should only come in like how the defense force come in when the police overwhelm and cannot deal with a situation. That is when they come in. Now, the police have a duty to investigate. Now, when you look at other investigative bodies, the CIA, the FBI, even Guadeloupe, them Shadam and so on, before the Shadam and them even lay a hand on you and touch you, they be in a thick dossier. So man, anytime you see them man come and touch you, They have all information on you. Okay, so when the police in, stop you, whatever, they they can detain you, or they can arrest you. You understand? But they have to make the circumstances clear. You cannot come and meet me on my regular lawful business and just feel like you can just violate me and violate my rights under the guise of you carrying out an investigation, my brother. No, all them things is things that yeah.
That is what you know what you're telling me, and what I know. Well, you know what you're telling me now. What I know already is even the new set of recruits that join is as ignorant as those that they are already in terms of not knowing the constitution. You check which is a broad thing that's supposed to be guiding all of us. Where we're supposed to use our discretion in handling things and doing things. You check, so now if they had know that, then they'd be acting the way you're talking. In terms of knowing, boy, you're going on there randomly every day that stop people and make people feel harassed about, you have to search your vehicle for weapons and those kind of things.
The police don't have right to arrest somebody you don't know the code. You have the police wise because on the line represent the code and they can't answer you.
You know what?
You
You know what? You know what? Anybody that would think critically could perceive from that is that yes, we have a rise in gun violence and so on, and the police have a duty to respond to that. But parallel to that, I think they also using the opportunity to get the public to surrender their security to them, to become more of a police state. You understand? To massage us in that direction for us to submit to that as being the normal thing. You check I telling you? So we'll just find that every week we'll just find, yeah, that will just be a regular thing that we just, a normal part of life. But the way that we can change is by this very discussion that we have in and bringing it to the to the front, making sure that the people in the right places in the media and so on keep that discussion going, because you cannot, while yes the police have a duty, and it's just like the protesters thing, just like the one that what happened there. I was saying that when you had the parliament scenario, the police duty was to search the people that were coming to protest, all of the elder people, and so ensure they have no weapons, no nothing, and let them through the barricade closer to the parliament building. You understand? In a secure area where they can maintain their protection, maintain that nobody interfere with their demonstration and so on. So so you see that, the police have a a way of setting up the scenario so that they can act under the guise of preserving the security, but not really preserving the security, No, but what I say is, at that time, you would have a justify. You'd be able to say, well, okay, who are the people that come in to cause disruption, and who are the people that come in to placate, to let their voices be heard. You cannot burn the entire forest to catch a snake, my brother. That is not law enforcement. Law enforcement have to be methodological. It have to have a method to it. You understand? You can, and the track record showing it. How many cases you see, like, okay, look at the Kenisha thing, we shoot the guy. How many times for us to understand that we have to get it right, my brother. Anyway.
Tell me, my boy. Tell me. today you cannot say nothing that the police kill the person that have they say that the police have a problem now. But you see, get that forward, they do that.
You know what that compounding that as well? You know what has compounding that as well? The fact that there's a big disparity in the way that the police, because you would almost think that there is no white collar crime in Dominica, you know, and those crimes, those white collar crimes, are the unnecessary crimes. Because while they're putting pressure on us while we committing crimes of survival, because these crimes of survival only happening because of the circumstances we suffer in, out of the white collar crime, and the corruption, the corruption breeding the poverty that we living in. You understand? Yeah. Thank you, Tola. So as the man, yeah, yeah, to do something about it, yes. Because the ganja man is a taxpayer. The ganja man buying his milk and thing laid for his youth. You check, I telling you. You understand? So we cannot, if we're looking at policing on a scientific level, then we can already see that it have a disparity in the way that policing is being applied. But I don't want to take that away from their successes. I see that they intercept some firearms and so on. So and I see they are a little community of it. They have their good. You understand? But we have to keep the pressure on them to keep on delivering and keep delivering in the way, in the right manner. You check me, in the way that will, in the legal manner. Because the society need pruning, It's like a bush, It need to prune. You check me, you need to sometimes pass a little dig up in the roots and thing and cut one to old branch. You need, man, have to, yeah, man.
Yeah, greetings. I just want to touch on the subject with the police, and what I have to say is that it's time for us, the citizens, to have a discussion with our police officers. Let's get it straight. We need to understand that we're not there to like the authority and we're peasants. We are employers, and there's certain things that you're doing that we need to come to an understanding among ourselves. So you see the marijuana thing there, that is one of them we need to have a discussion about. Let's get it straight so that people do, yeah, because I can see man still kicking wrong man door and thing and go to the big tree and go in man tree and be in van. Like you like what kind of contradiction is that? Like let's get that straight. Let's understand ourselves. You know what I mean? It's only people be ignorant and then take advantage of the ignorance. You know what I mean? That's why once by the bridge, I see the police and I'm harassing man selling jelly. I ask the police, like, officer, what's going on? Like, explain to us, like, what is the situation? Why you doing what you're doing? Because I see now making an honest hustle to make some money so they can feed their family. And now they're harassing them, you come and tell them, come out there and this and that and that and that. Like, don't just come and, like, we just stick out to beat people. Like, have a discussion with the people. Explain to them why you're doing what you're doing, and what is the solution, this kind of things like that. You check it. Let's have a discussion there so we can all be on the same page.
Let me just respond to something there quick now. Cynthia Thomas is asking, well, if I authorize the police to search the protesters. Well, you see, you have to understand that everybody have a right to protection under the law. Okay? So when the police have a duty to secure the public, to secure everybody there, it includes you. Because you may feel, well, you do come in with nothing and you check me, you come in. But it have people that may have other intentions. You check, I telling you. Now, we talking about civility right now. You check me, we talking about the way the system should work. You understand? Now, it have instances where you have a total breakdown of law and order, and you have what you might quote a revolution, because when sometimes like a physical revolution, you check I telling you, you have civil disobedience, you have that kind of a breakdown in society. But what we're talking about there right now is a civil way, you know, of executing our demands, the lawful way of executing our demands, and the duty, the responsibility of the police to protect us in doing so. So a lot of the times that people are afraid to come out is for that very thing. It's because the police don't seem to be able to differentiate, you know, what is their responsibility and where the boundaries of their duties lie. Everybody should feel safe to come out and demonstrate or to come out and protest. You understand? And just by the sheer number, just by the sheer presence of the people, the message will be clear. You understand? But when the police don't understand their duty, don't understand their responsibility, then you have people coming and infiltrating the crowd. They starting, and then those things they're counterproductive. Where you have the scenario of where we come playing into the hands of the people that want to break up the momentum. So they will light the fire now that will burn down the forest. You understand? But we want to catch the snake, but we don't want to burn down the forest. You understand? So we have to understand that the police, all of these things, they belong to us. We were the first. You see, when you read in the Bible and you're reading in Genesis how there was the water and the Spirit of God passed over the thing and He create all the animals and He give you the order of creation. So too in the Constitution there is an order of creation, and the very first things that are created in the Constitution are our rights, our fundamental freedoms. The citizen, the character of the citizen, the Constitution, the embodiment of the citizen is the first thing that is created in the Constitution. Then it goes on to create all of these other organs which belong to us, to serve us. No, no, even as a police, what you think? You born a police, you'll die a police? No. Sometimes I see many fellas that were police now they're not doing police. Many fellas that was high in police right now I see the security guard. You check I saying? So we have to understand that the principles that we uphold is what we will live by. You understand? When you no longer a police, if you teach the younger police that it is okay to come and kick down and break down and mash down how you make your bed, is you're going to sleep in it. You check? Yeah, man. So yes, our passion may run high. I am guilty of that many a times. I working on that, and I think every human being is struggling with that. You check me, does wrestle with their flesh. But we striving for something higher than what our flesh is. We not trying to dominate the world. We trying to subdue our desire and our flesh, our desire to be angry and to hate and to, you check me, because we can't build in hate, We have to build in love. You check I telling you? And many times I guilty of it, because remember, you see, I believe Rasta, they teach us that there is no place for hate, but I believe that there's a time and place for everything. You understand? But we have to be careful that those things don't consume us and we don't get trapped in the hate and trapped in a cycle of hate. You understand?
We have to understand that we can do things. We have feelings.
Yeah,
We
man.
have something inside of us that we call feelings. Or we have to understand that, Pastor.
What I go say to that, even the Lord does exercise vengeance, you know, my brother. I check.
Slave never love his slave master.
Even when you read the Bible, even the Lord God has exercised vengeance upon man, you know, my brother. Check. But to contribute to the whole discussion, yeah, you check. The Constitution is based on individual liberty, and it's something that we always have to keep in focus. Our individual liberty, you check, and in that we all have rights. You check. No one person should have more rights than the other person. You check me. Yes. The Constitution speaks directly to arbitrary search and seizure of property. Directly speaks about it. You check me. So them is things you check that it's serious and it's problems that has happened in the past that the Constitution became a thing in. So it's not like to say that is a problem that just come and exists. You check. So we have to look at approaches to the problem, and me, man, sometimes I feel careful thing is throw it out the window. You check? Because if the authority and to our stage, a man come to you, he have his gun in his hand. He don't come to you in a humble way for you to have no negotiation or have no discussion or have no understanding, you know. He come to you in a manner where I come to impose my will upon you. You check? Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, that not part of it, you know. But the Constitution telling you you're innocent until they can prove you're guilty. So if you cannot prove I guilty, you're supposed to leave me alone, you know. You do have no legal justifications for what you're doing. You check?
That's why it have full of detainment, it have false arrest, it have all them things there.
So I have my right to defend myself, and everybody have a right to defend themselves because our individual liberty gives us and affords us that right. So when you tell me you come to me without understanding, without comprehension, my brother, and you feel to yourself you have your gun, you check, and I agree 6,000,000% with to a wash. All man should have their gun, my brother. You understand? All man should have their gun. So if he come to me now and he behaving arbitrary, how I defending myself? You check. If he behaving unjust, huh? Who gonna defend my life? Huh? How you gonna defend your life in a position where you in a group of policemen armed? Huh? All of them armed, but you don't arm because citizens not allowed. And that is one thing I kind of like if America and the whole constitution thing that citizens have the right to bear arms, my brother. Is your right to bear arm, you know. You check. Because the authority cannot have arm. And I cannot say, well, whether I choose to or don't choose to, that I cannot arm myself to defend myself. Whether it is, but when you come into me in a manner that is savage, higher. Because if you come into me for man to have comprehension and understanding amongst man and empathy amongst man, my brother, we're supposed to be able to sit down and hold reasoning and come to conclusion. You check. And if I feel to myself I guilty, I supposed to just humble myself and just agree. You check me? Yes, of course. You check. You check me. So yeah, and the constitution affords us. You see that thing about like I tell man, yo, no policeman to stop in me and search me. No, we are in. You check me. I tell you, they can have all right and feel there. No policeman to stopping me and search me. Nowhere I am. You check. I tell you, a man not live. You check. Well, man, I tell you straight. If yeah, because you have to. If you don't have a legal, let me tell you that. If you don't have a legal justification, not any justification, you have to have a legal justification for you to be able to stop and search anybody. You check. It's not because you feel or you have or you feel to yourself, but you're an authority figure. No, 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 no. Use the power. But the police doesn't carry no more authority. Oh, no more. How should I put it? No more right. Greater than your right, Everybody is the same individual liberty, my brother. And that is what makes us a republic. You check. That is part, I shouldn't just say, that is part of what makes us a republic. You check me? That everybody have the individual liberty. You check me? Yes, we have a president. Yes, we have a prime minister. Yes, we have flag. But your individual liberty, that is part of what makes us a republic. And you're supposed to respect the individual liberty of everybody. It's not because you feel you is the government and them man they're opposing you, so you should just exercise your authority to silence them man. No, them thing wrong. You check? And the police in themselves supposed to put the balance in the system and make the society know, well, okay, boom. Even if you have an authority, you're supposed to exercise your authority on a less fortunate person than you. You check them bullying things, supposed to be stamped out. You check me? So you're telling me how I supposed to defend myself from bullying? Hmm? I just supposed to stand up there and just agree. Allow them man to just brutalize me and just nah man. Nah, you check. Constitution telling it to you. You have protection against such arbitrary search and seizure. You check me? Yeah, man. It have plenty nonsense going on. Too much nonsense, man. Too much. You check. Yeah. What you see? Yeah, we go. What you see on the grammar school vibes and that whole outsourcing of our of our local construction. Well, not even just the construction, just our whole local. Well, yeah, construction. What do you call it? Architecture construction. The whole engineering, construction, and architecture industry. Architecture, construction, engineering industry. When you outsource an entire industry, our largest sector of our economy. That is the largest sector of our economy. Nowhere else has there been a planned $1 billion to spend in the economy. Nowhere else. Might you have 100 million by there, some other thing by there. But construction industry is the only place you have heard of $1 billion spending. Check me. And that is just on one project, $1 billion+ on one project. So when you take all them other projects collectively, that is the largest sector, without a doubt. Construction, agriculture, tourism, none of them things don't have them level there. And you take that and you outsource that, you give that to a set of foreigners. And then you go come now on media and you go boost first. Oh, the foreigners sending out $200-300 million. So who you working for, my brother? Who you working for? You supposed to try and retain as much money in the economy as possible. You could see Donald Trump deporting man left, right, and center for what? To try and retain as much money in the American economy as possible. Too much money going overseas. And yes, you're right, because some of them laws need to be rewritten. We check our present laws cannot trial nobody for treason unless you take up arms against the state, you know. You check. That is what the present laws are. We cannot trial nobody for treason unless they take up arms against the state. But them things need to be revisited. You check. Them kind of thing about you coming and you betraying your people, my brother. You check me. Put us back in slavery. Our foreigners dictating to us how we should behave and what is our identity as a people. That is slavery, you know. From a man can dictate to you what is your identity. You check, and you have Chinese dictating to us who is what is our identity. You check me. You have Chinese, you have Arab dictating to us our identity, my brother, and them are not even participating in who we are. You check me. Them are not even people. Them are not even people to say like that descendants of Dominicans or some kind of a thing like that, my brother. Hold on a second. Let me finish here what I said. Check and them in situation that just unacceptable. You check. It's just totally unacceptable, my brother. On no level whatsoever, we should even consider accepting them kind of a thing or even try to negotiate in them thing. You check me? Them thing just totally wrong and on no level, my brother, we're not supposed to accept that. You check? But we cannot put ourselves so we knowingly putting ourselves back in slavery then.
We enslaving another nation. One China policy is not enslaving, we enslaving another nation. So while we helping to enslave another nation, we ourselves being enslaved. So what you see you wishing for your neighbor is that a set that will happen to you. You try telling you that is all I wanted to say. You check. Yeah. So wrong news that you'll see under your bed. Yeah. One China policy. Mm. The red and yellow copy that on the front if people's back. What that representing? I don't know now, my brother. Well, it's come. All right.
Remember, Julius Timothy tell of my brother that a very long time ago. That he said, my brother, we are for China. From it seems the Prime Minister signed that
Well,
But yeah, you know, it's plenty things, you know. Plenty things. You check and we have to be willing to hold those discussions and we have to be willing to understand and comprehend things. You check me. Face our reality. You check and we have to face our reality like good men, my brother. Not like no little boy thing. You check me. We have to face our reality as grown men because we cannot push ourselves back in slavery and accept what are going on there. For you to tell me the largest sector of the economy you outsource it to foreigners. You check me. So what is Skerrit benefit in all of that? What's Skerrit getting from MMC? Huh? What he getting from MMC, my brother? You check. And we just deal with blood. We just deal with gas like them thing normal, like we just have to accept that and we cannot do nothing against that. No boy, I cannot see that. We can always do something for ourselves. You check. Yes. Yes, we need unity. We need to unify. We have to unify ourselves as a people and as a society, my brother, and represent who we are. You check? Represent who we are as a unified people. You check me? Not allow Chinese to dictate to us who we are. all our Arab to come and dictate to us what is our identity as a people. You check me. We can't make an Arab our developer. Yeah.
We have to understand our government have a problem. Our government, all the advisors is outsiders.
So yeah, you know the vibes. We at a crossroad in our history. And I feel right now, I feel like we as a people, it's time we take the decisions. I mean, we have to do it individually and come to the collective. But it's through the individually. It's by taking that individual steps that we can come together for our greater interest and benefit. But it's something we need to do. We will, it's no longer just something that should be planned. Right now, we need to do that. We need to put we need to put our differences on the back burner and agree we're going to do that for Dominica, for our future. But we need to come together and take control of the situation. Get rid of them rogue leaders that we have there that only interested in enriching themselves. You check me, and no longer for country, but only for party. The interest of a political party is upheld over the interest of our state, of us as a society. You know, we have to do something about it. We cannot just allow ourselves to be just derailed and just yeah. Time for us to the time coming for us to really stand up. Check. It's time for us to stand up. So yeah, I'm gonna allow 2 hours to give his closing comments and call it a night for tonight. So yeah, I
Yeah, man. Well, I giving thanks again. Yeah, man. I have to thank you too for welcoming me on Moun Séwyè platform to have a discussion. Okay. And I would still like to make it public know that we soon going to have a ganja smokers walk and think to make the government know the amount of ganja smokers it have and to make them see how we're really serious about that thing about them stopping brutalizing and we facing a kind of a roughness and that kind of a, or how to say, abusement from the government and things. So we, as the Rastas, uh, put in organizing a ganja walk soon, so we could and to fight for the freedom of our marijuana and so and see the freedom of all our ganja prisoners too. So on the closing, I would like to say good night and I would like to thank uh, Moun Séwyè again and yeah, and tell the people it's time for us to stand up and fight for our rights and it's time for us to stand up and fight for our rights. We cannot take it no longer. And let's say
Yes, I big up to everybody, you know. Enough respect to all the viewers. You know, yeah, man, respect to Rastafari, you don't know. It's a great contribution, you know. We always have to keep sharing the education, but it's an important thing. Talking important, we can't stop that. Man, I want to give greetings to everybody that was on the live tonight. And keep sharing it, man. It's a thing to share to everybody. Share to your friends, share to your family. Let's get more of us on board. We need to make a better Dominica, my people. We can't keep going down that road. Big up and good night, everybody.
yeah. So you know, it's just one movement. We just have to do what it takes to get our dignity and pride back in line. Man. That self-destruction we're on. It's time we to put a stop. Okay. Well, Gerard Vidal, things will change inevitably. The government will self-destruct, but the nation will take them down. Well, definitely, me for the nation, we should take them down. We cannot wait to self-destruct, for them to self-destruct and make it look like that might cause us more harm than good. That self-destruction. Yeah, one love, Carol. Good night. You know, and blessed love to everybody. You know, so everyone have a good night. Just, well, right now, there. Let's just stay focused and get things going, man. Yeah, time to really get things going.